You finally get what you wanted. The relationship, the job, the routine that works. And then nothing. Not relief, not satisfaction. Just a quiet, creeping boredom that makes you want to walk away. Why does success feel like the end of the story? And why does the arrival always feel emptier than the journey? Let me describe what this feels like. You spend months, maybe years, chasing something. A goal, a person, a version of yourself. You're obsessed, motivated, alive. Every step forward feels electric. You can taste the possibility. The future version of you who has this thing, the life that will finally make sense. But the moment it becomes real, the moment it starts working, something shifts. The excitement fades. The meaning drains out. You start noticing flaws, feeling restless, questioning if this is what you actually wanted. The relationship that felt like destiny now feels like routine. The job you fought for now feels like a cage. The body you worked toward now feels invisible. And the worst part? You feel guilty about it because you know other people would kill for what you have. So you tell yourself you're broken, ungrateful, incapable of being happy. Maybe you have commitment issues. Maybe you're shallow. Maybe you're just one of those people who can never be satisfied. And here's what makes it even more confusing. You've done this before. This isn't the first time. There's a pattern. The excitement before, the emptiness after. Like you're addicted to the chase itself. And once you catch what you're running toward, the spell breaks. You look around and wonder, now what? But what if that's not the truth? What if the problem isn't you at all? Here's what's actually happening. You're not broken. You're wired. Your brain wasn't designed to enjoy arrival. It was designed to enjoy pursuit. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean, your brain's reward system is literally structured around anticipation, not achievement. There's a specific psychological pattern at play here, and once you understand it, everything changes. Because this isn't about lack of discipline or gratitude. It's not about being a bad person or having the wrong values. It's about how your dopamine system works. And more specifically, how certain personality types are organized around a novelty, challenge, and uncertainty. For some people, stability feels like peace. For you, it feels like death. Not because you're dramatic, but because your brain interprets the absence of challenge as the absence of meaning. And that's not a character flaw, it's neurology. So before we go any further, I need you to hear this. You are not too much. You are not ungrateful. You are not destined to sabotage everything good in your life. You're just wired differently. And once you understand how, you can finally stop fighting yourself. Let me show you what's really going on. Your brain runs on a chemical called dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, the thing that makes you feel good when you get what you want. But that's not quite right. And understanding the difference is everything. Dopamine isn't released when you get something. It's released when you anticipate it. It's the neurochemical of wanting, of pursuit, of possibility. When you're chasing something, your brain is flooded with dopamine. Every small win, every sign of progress, every step closer. Your brain lights up. But the moment you achieve it, the moment uncertainty disappears, dopamine crashes. Not because the thing is bad, not because you were wrong about wanting it, but because your brain stops paying attention. This is called the reward prediction error. It's one of the most important concepts in neuroscience, and it explains almost everything about why you feel the way you do. Here's how it works. Your brain is constantly making predictions about the world. It's asking, what's going to happen next? And when reality surprises you, when you get more than expected, dopamine spikes. But when reality matches your expectation exactly, when there's no gap between what you predicted and what you got, dopamine flatlines. Your brain interprets this as nothing new here, move along. This is why the first bite of food tastes better than the 10th. Why the first kiss in a relationship feels electric and the 100th feels nice. Why a promotion feels incredible for a week, then fades into background noise. It's not that the thing loses value, it's that your brain stops encoding it as valuable. Because from an evolutionary perspective, your brain's job isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you alive. And staying alive means noticing change, noticing threats, noticing opportunities, noticing anything that could affect your survival or reproduction. Stable, predictable environments don't require attention, so your brain tunes them out. It's efficient, adaptive. But for you, it feels like a curse, because the things that matter most to you, relationships, career, purpose, all require sustained attention, and your brain keeps trying to move on. Now, this happens to everyone to some degree. Everyone experiences hedonic adaptation, the tendency to return to a baseline level of happiness after positive or negative events. But if you lose interest fast, if this is a defining pattern in your life, there's something more specific happening. You likely have what psychologists call high novelty-seeking, and it changes everything about how you experience the world. Novelty-seeking is one of the core personality traits studied in psychology. It's part of what's called temperament, the biological foundation of personality, and it's directly linked to your dopamine receptor density in your brain. People high in novelty-seeking have a specific neurological profile. They need more stimulation to feel engaged. They crave complexity, variety, the unknown. When life becomes predictable, their brain doesn't just lose interest, it interprets stability as irrelevant, not consciously, but neurologically. The brain's filtering system, the reticular activating system, literally tunes out stable, predictable environments. Think of it like this. Your brain has limited processing power. It can't pay attention to everything, so it prioritizes. And it prioritizes based on one question: is this important right now? For most people, something becomes important when it's stable and working. A good relationship, a secure job, a healthy routine. Their brain says, this is valuable, protect it. But for the novelty-seeking brain, it's the opposite. Once something is stable, the brain says, this is handled, what's next? It's not that you don't care, it's that your brain stops seeing it as important. And when your brain stops paying attention, your emotions follow. The connection fades, the motivation disappears, and you're left wondering why something that should make you happy doesn't. Now, if you also score high in another personality trait, openness to experience, this pattern intensifies. Openness is one of the big 5 personality traits, and it's all about your relationship with novelty, complexity, and meaning. People high in openness don't just want things to work, they want them to mean something. They crave depth, transformation, the sense that they're growing. And here's the problem. Once something becomes routine, once the mystery is solved, once you understand how it works, the meaning evaporates. Because meaning for you isn't found in stability, it's found in exploration. You don't want to have answers, you want to discover them. And when there's nothing left to discover, your brain checks out. So let's put this together. If you're high in novelty-seeking and high in openness, you have what I call a frontier-oriented brain. You're wired to live at the edge of your own understanding, at the boundary between the known and the unknown. And this explains everything. Why you come alive when you're learning something new, why you feel most yourself when you're in unfamiliar territory, why you fall in love with potential, not reality, why you're drawn to people who feel like puzzles, not open books, and why the moment something stops challenging you, it stops mattering. You're not broken, you're not ungrateful, you're not destined to sabotage everything good in your life. You're just wired to keep moving. The question is, how do you build a life that doesn't collapse every time you reach the next milestone? So what do you actually do with this? How do you create stability without suffocating yourself? How do you commit without losing yourself? Here are 5 principles rooted in psychology that can help you work with your brain instead of against it. Reframe stability as a launch pad, not a destination. Your brain loses interest when it believes the game is over, so don't let it end. When something starts working, when you get the job, the relationship, the body, the routine, most people exhale. They say, finally, I can rest now. But you can't, not for long, because your brain needs a horizon. It needs something to move toward. So instead of treating success as an ending, treat it as a beginning. Ask yourself, what does this make possible now? Psychologically, this activates what's called approach motivation, the brain's drive toward new goals, and it reframes stability from a static state into a dynamic foundation. You're not trying to preserve what you have, you're using it to build what's next. The relationship isn't the finish line, it's the partnership that lets you explore life together. The job isn't the goal, it's the resource that funds your next creative project. The healthy body isn't the end, it's the vehicle that carries you into new experiences. Stability doesn't have to mean stagnation. It can mean expansion, but only if you choose to see it that way. Introduce controlled novelty.